Yeah, what's going on? It's your brother Ron, the Sandwich Artist, and once again, it's a great day for PB and J, man. Hope that you're taking care of yourselves out there, man. Sending you peace, blessings, abundance, and most importantly, love. And I'm back with another video. In today's video, I want to talk about the power and the influence and the culture of language, man. Language is what I'm speaking right now. But what is language? All language is sound, right? But there's also language that doesn't involve sound, like body language, right? Or sign language, right? It's so crazy how we can communicate as human beings. It is so crazy how we can communicate as animals or Homo sapiens. I just wanted to throw that word in there. But today, yes, I just want to talk about language and the impact that it has had on us as a people, a civilization, a culture, and a tribe through different regions of the world, right? So I am from North Carolina. Well, I was born in Virginia, from North Carolina, and it's so crazy. I love where I'm from. I love the culture. I love our slang. I love our language. I love our body language. I love our mannerisms. And I love, most importantly, being from the country. It has been such a blessing, man, because I've experienced some things that I couldn't imagine ever experiencing after being from a city, right? So sometimes being from the country, I realize I am blessed to know what peace and quiet is, to know what space is, to have space around me and to go outside and breathe fresh air and just be able to go out, do some jumping jacks, kick backflips, all of that, roll around in the grass and all of that good stuff. But enough of that. I just want to talk about language real quick. So I ran into a guy the other day, and he was from Africa. He was African, he was Nigerian, and we chopped it up for just a little bit. Once again, chopping it up, that's something I say because where I'm from. Most of the time when I meet people and I talk, they think, "Oh, bro, where are you from, man? You must be from Maryland," because Virginia is close to Maryland. I've spent some time in Virginia and I've spent some time in North Carolina. So a lot of things that I say sounds a little bit like Maryland, like my twos, my or just how I talk, my mannerisms, right? A little fast, a little slow, a little slang, a little boom, a little bop, you know what I'm saying? So, but back to the language thing. I say all that to say, so growing up in North Carolina, man, I always loved how we chop it up. And I met this guy from Africa, and he was telling me, and I love Africans. Shout out to the Africans out there, man, if you watch this video. But I was talking to him, and he told me, I was asking him, I said, so man, how many languages is it in Africa? And he told me, he said, bruh, it's over hundreds and hundreds of languages in Africa. I said, so how do you guys distinctly differentiate the two, the different languages, right? But still somehow understand each other. Like how do you speak your language from where you're from, and how can somebody, let's say in Ghana or Liberia, speak their language? And he was like, bro, I mean, the universal language is English. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah, like everybody in Africa, when we want to be able to mix together and talk, and I'm guessing it's like that in other places. But he said, no, the universal language is English, man. He said we all speak English to talk to each other, but when I go back home to where I'm from, we speak how we speak, and only we can understand that. I begin to say this. I said, hey, bro. I said, that's crazy. I said, so honestly, language is like something that's been passed down from years and years and years in your tribe, right? Because only your tribe and where you're from knows that language. And he was like, yeah, man. He said, yeah, that's true. He's like, yeah, it's been something that's been passed down from years and years and years. And that is synchronization. That is information through DNA, right? Through language. Because language is a DNA construct type of thing, right? It's passed down over time, through and through. Have you ever heard somebody speaking a language and you can kind of somewhat understand what they're saying, but you don't know that language? Well, maybe, this is just my conspiracy, maybe your ancestors spoke that language at one time, or they were around it to be able to, even though they can't speak it, it's a part of their DNA, so maybe they can understand it. Like when people walk by Spanish speakers, it'd be like, man, bro, that word sounded like he was talking shit. Language frequencies, right? Languages are sounds. Sometimes you can hear a language, or you can hear a certain word that you may not understand, but the type of tone, delivery, or the frequency of that language could be low vibrational, where you could understand, like, bro, he's saying he cussed this nigga, bro, he cussing me out. Even though I don't understand it, he cussing me out. I feel like he cussing me out, but that's just a conspiracy I have. But to get back to the language thing, he said, yeah, man, the universal language that we speak is English. I'm like, that's what's up. Like, what? Like, the fuck? Like, so here I am, grew up in America, and we speak in English, you know what I'm saying? We talk in English around, and we speak in it, and I'm like, okay, certain other countries speak English too, but to think, like, okay, boom, so in your culture, y'all speak your tribal language, but then the universal language that everybody can speak is English, which is dope. Second language being the most famous would be Spanish. So I'm like, all right, bet, cool, that's lit too, because of course, shout out to the Spanish speaking South America, the Spanish speaking countries, and then you got Mexico, and then how that goes back to natives and all of that. But back to what he was saying, it's like, damn, bro. So he was like, yeah. So I was like, yo, so that's crazy. So like, you speak that your tribe, because it's multiple tribes, right, in different districts of Africa. Like Nigerians, it's multiple Nigerians. In Ghana, it's multiple Ghanaians. And in Mexico, multiple Mexicans, and they all got their own little slang words that they throw in the mixture of the language that they're using that they only understand. Just like in America, if I go to Atlanta, what up, twin? They chopping up. They got their own junk. In Chicago, it's like, you know what I'm saying? Yo, chill out, buddy, and then different parts of Detroit, cold, boom, boom, boom. Back to North Carolina, North Kakalaka. But we got our own type shit, like hell yeah. And it's just a mixture of crazy how we all can speak one language, but then have little intricate pieces throughout the language that represent our identity, which is crazy to me, but I love it. And it just goes to show how everything evolves over time and it adapts, and it's like it's innovative, right? It introduces and it creates new things that we use that we can incorporate into the culture that just makes everything even better, right? Kind of like a fruit, right? You mix this fruit with that fruit, now you got a hybrid. Now this, you can do this, that, this heals that. You create this, bop, bop, bop. You know what I'm saying? Oop, the wop. But back to being serious, when I spoke to the African dude, it was just a crazy mix of energy. It was a crazy mix of information. And the thing that stood out the most that he loved that I said that the universe brought to my attention, a download, was we were speaking and he was like, yeah, man, so we speak the universal language in Africa, which is English, but we all have our own tribes that languages have been passed down from years and years and years and years that only we speak within our tribes that we understand. So I'm thinking like, damn, okay, I'm thinking everybody in Africa speak French. Nah. Most of the, like, one of the biggest languages in Africa is French, of course, with Haitians, French, boom, boom, boom. That's another, I wouldn't say universal language, but a big language on the spectrum, right? But I was like, damn, that's lit, man. He was like, yeah. So he was like, but it's like, yeah, so we speak our own language, but the universal language is English. And I was like, so damn. So I'm like, when you're speaking, it's like your ancestors are speaking through you, because only you know that language that your ancestors have been using that was created over time through your blood, through your DNA, through your energy, right? Through your ancestry. That's the language that's been used. So let's just say you die and you were the last person to know that language will no longer exist. Just like a lot of languages that are no longer here because the people have gone extinct and died. But there is certain languages that are still that have still been carried on and carried on and carried on because they carried the people or the tribe or the DNA, or that culture has carried on that language and made sure that it didn't die. That's why when they say like, yo, protect the culture, don't let nobody just come in and do the culture any type of way. Like the culture is sacred. It is a sacred thing because you want to carry that culture on. You don't want it to die off because that's information within that culture and within that language that can be used or that is important to those people or the world or a tribe or just anything, whether that can be food, medicine, health, everyday life, simple sayings, like spoil the rod, spoil the child. Like these are just things, or it takes a village. These are certain things that have been just information that's been passed on and passed on and passed on for years, through people, their culture and their language. Just like there are sayings in Africa, right? There are sayings in Russia. There are sayings in America. There are sayings in Native language. There are sayings in African American language or just America period, that we hold on to and they hold value just by saying it, right? Stanzas, whatever you want to, say or call them, right? Or metaphors. But yeah, the crazy part was he was just like, yo, nice to meet you, Jaja. We chopped it up for a little bit, but we exchanged a cultural moment and being able to say like, bro, like when we're speaking, our ancestors are speaking through us when we use a language that only our ancestors used and only our people have used. It's like they're speaking through us. Like for instance, I'm hearing the birds chirp. Like, bro, could you imagine a bird chirping 100 years ago to a bird chirping now? But a certain type of bird probably chirps like his ancestral bird from millions of years ago, based off of genetics. But anyways, man, I want to say that to say this. Appreciate your language, man. Be proud of your culture that you come from. Continue to communicate effectively. Continue to play around with language. Continue to appreciate the language you use and where you're from. It's another great day for a peanut butter and jelly. I appreciate y'all for watching this video. Go get you one. It's good for the soul. Like, comment, subscribe, and follow me.